This is Ione. You're listening to the Gospel Show Sunday Special on Avenues 87.7 FM. We have in the studio at the moment somebody who started writing at the age of 21, and he's only just 25 and he's already written 6 books. And they're not like thin little booklets, they're really thick books, serious books that he's written, 500 pages. Yes, we have Stephen Whyte in the studio with us, and he's just come back from a tour. We were talking about his trip to South Africa. He set up 3 charity projects over there for the homeless. Hi, and Steve.
Hello.
Hi. We were talking about your trip to South Africa, and what did you do in South Africa?
When I went to, started off in Cape Town, which for me, what I saw was the most poverty. And then after the first week, we went out to Johannesburg, where it's pretty much like London, a lot of highways. It's very city-like. A lot of people outside of South Africa think there's a lot of stereotypes, so it's very dangerous, but it's not really. But yeah, we actually went to Mr. Mandela's house, and we went to his main house. I met with his people and a guy who was in prison with him for 17 years.
Okay.
But yeah, we sat down and we spoke and gave me some really, really good advice. And it was just like a dream because, just to be in the arena, it was inspirational. And that really kind of inspired the rest of the tour, the things I had to do. I was thinking pretty small when I went out there. But after speaking to that guy, it really changed my perspective on how big this can be.
Did you say you went to the documentary while you were in South Africa as well?
We were filming the whole process. And part of the reason is when I went there, I thought, okay, my documentary, I want it to look how it looks on TV. But then when I got there, I realised it's very different to how I see it on TV. Nothing against the BBC and all these stations, but I spoke to someone over there and they said, please go and tell the truth. And they told me that a lot of these stations will go over there and tell them what to say. Tell the people what to say. And so my documentary is very raw. It's,
real.
It's really real. It'll make you cry. I challenge any tough guy out there to watch it. It is what it is. It's on my website. It's on YouTube. But the documentary is really about I was starting up a charity.
And what's a charity?
Better Days. I've transformed
right.
So I've transformed the whole project from life coaching into the charity.
And it's called Better Days Charity.
Better Days Project.
Yes.
And it's basically, I've created a few shelters out there since I've come back.
You have?
Yeah, I've created 3 shelters. The young people, the homeless people. Because what it is, their system over there is they have shelters that they have to pay to sleep one night. One lady, she has to beg for 5 days to sleep in for one night, then go back on the streets. Whereas our shelters, they're educational. So you come in, you stay there for a while, you learn something, and then you can go out. This is Better Days Educational Shelters.
Okay.
And they're run by my colleague who's also in South Africa.
Who's that?
Billing Siwila, his name is.
South African?
Yeah. No, he's Zambian. But he lives in South Africa.
Okay.
He's also an author. But yes, the documentary went really well. And then there was demand for me to go to other places. So
the documentary...
Yeah.
Just go backtrack a little bit. Okay. So we can see it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. My channel is Better Days TV. You can watch the whole documentary. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes from when I arrived there until I got back. It shows everything I did, where I went, Nelson Mandela's house, everything you need to see is on there.
Brilliant. And so after South Africa?
I was there for 3.5 weeks. I came back and I was really depressed. I was so down.
Because of what you saw?
No. It was more coming back into this environment and seeing the lack of inspiration in this country when we have so much. I felt like I have to almost beg people over here, if they're not a fan, to buy my book. I have to beg them to support me if they're not a fan. I go over there and the love I receive from people who have so little, they're willing, homeless lady willing to give me what she begged for to buy my book and not eat.
You know what that takes me back to? This scripture which says the prophet is not without honour unless it's... home.
Yeah.
Do you remember that verse?
Yeah, it's so true, But more than the lack of support, it was just how ungrateful we can be for what we actually have. We're looking at America, we're looking at all these pop stars, and we're idolizing all of these rich and famous people, but we have so much here and we don't acknowledge it.
Hold that thought. I'll come right back. Just play one of your tracks. And this one is Verified by God.
They said my
wasn't good enough. He said, I'm the temple of the living God, and that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Then they said, I'll never be rich enough, but he said, I share inheritance of my God. No matter what they say about me, I'ma keep on standing on his word. No matter what may come my way, no matter what they wanna say about me, I'm verified by God. Who God bless, no man can pick you up and turn you around at your worst. No, it don't matter what they say about me, I'm verified by God. They said I'll never be a winner. He said I'm more than a conqueror. I've overcome the world. I know God's voice. I show forth his praise. I did it by choice. Say hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Try to shut my mouth, but when the praises go up, the blessings come down. They said I was weak, but he made me strong. They said I was nothing, but they were wrong, 'cause I'm an ambassador for Christ with everlasting life. Oh, I surrender all to him, no matter what comes my way. No matter what may come my way, no matter what they wanna say about me, I'm verified by God. Who God bless, no man can pick you up and turn you around at your worst. No, it don't matter what they say about me, I'm verified by God. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Hello, my name's Ione. You're listening to Avenues 87.7 FM, the Gospel Show, Sunday Special. Yes, we have Stephen Whyte in the studio with us. A very, 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 shall I say, did I say very? Yes, very interesting individual. And, he's just come back from a world tour. He's talked about South Africa. He went to the homeless, the people in the streets, talking to the homeless in the streets. He set up 3 charity projects over there for the homeless. And it hasn't stopped there. Where did you go from there, Steve? Besides the documentary you made there also.
Yes, after the documentary, had a lot of attention online and a lot of people reaching out saying, can you come? Other African countries. And I just felt like if I'm going to do charity work, I need to make money. And I'm not going to go to the poverty to make money. So the next plan I had was to go to Virginia in America, but something was just pressing me to not go to America yet. So I have a contact in Australia who said, we really want to have you over. A lot of radio stations want to talk to. So I booked my ticket and I said, okay, I'm going to go in January. But God had it that I leave in December. So I actually arrived in Australia 2 hours before New Year's. So I got there at 10 o'clock at night. And obviously they're 11 hours ahead. So I'm just buzzing. I'm awake.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting tired. But that whole New Year's night, we just had lots of fun. And that was really to release my new book, Profound.
Which part of Australia did you start off? Was it all over Australia?
I went to Melbourne, Seven Apostles, the whole coast of the bottom of Australia, and it's huge. It's huge. It took like 2 days to go around the whole drive.
Just one state?
Yeah, just driving around. But I was in Victoria most of the time. But it was really, and I didn't realise I have a lot of fans in Australia. And that was part of the reason why I did this, because a lot of people have bought my books. Yeah, so I invited those same people to a private book party launch. So they actually got to come out and have the book before everyone else, before my own family.
Well, that's the way to treat your fans. Keep them special.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So it was really, really nice.
Was anything media? Did it get any television or radio?
Whenever I go away, I always stay in a house. I never go in hotels. I always stay with someone I know. And I do try to keep it low profile, but in some instances, you cannot avoid some of the attention. Mm-hmm. And that happened when it was the book launch. People going crazy. And it's amazing to see what you can achieve from where you are. Mm-hmm. Australia is 23 hours flight away. It's just amazing to see the reach you can have from your bedroom. From your bedroom, just being on Twitter.
And the people who founded Facebook, how mega wealthy they are. Do you see yourself rising into those realms eventually? I have a very strong perception on what wealth is and what success is. Often we think the person who is so well known is really wealthy, but you walk past wealthy people every day and you don't know what's in their bank because they're not high profile. Mm-hmm. So is that a little hint I'm sort of gathering from your is that a hidden message to say?
Oh no, well, I think my book is about perceptions, a lot of it, and we need to understand that things are not always as they seem. Taking responsibility of your identity, and I think that's what I've done really well. I have not changed. I'm the same guy I was 5 years ago. I live a very, very simple life. I travel, come back to my family, because that's my first job, So
commitment to your family. Yeah. So you took Australia by storm.
It was really, this one for me was probably the best one because of this book. This book means so much to me because for the first time I feel like it's really authentic. This is me. This book is me. I talk about my life. I never really share anything about personal stuff, but I do in this book to get the message across, and it did really well. And now they want me to come back, and yes.
So you're going back this year, next year?
Probably back New Year's again.
Oh,
I've met true, real, lovely people.
Yeah.
I feel I learned so much in my life. I've learned more from people who we would consider insignificant than all the celebrities and people I meet that have nothing to offer.
It's an opportunity to spread a positive message. And you never know who's listening.
And as well, my perception of success is not about how big it is. It's about how well you do what you're doing in your area. So if you're successful in a small area, that could be the area that sets you, your family, and your children's children free.
So then from Australia, I think you said you went to Dubai?
Yeah, I stopped off there. It was really just because the plane, it's quite a long journey, but just got speaking to people at the airport, outside the airport, and which is amazing. People crowded around to talk, to just listen to me speak. And, things like that.
Your accent, or because you had the message you were conveying?
The message. So speaking to people on the plane, and then someone who was sitting next to me actually said she follows me online, and I had to sit on the whole 23 hours her talking on the plane.
She's a serious fan then.
She made everyone aware of what it is I do, and when we stopped off, I practically ministered to the whole plane at the airport.
And you obviously gained some fans in the process.
Yeah, so
without a doubt.
It was really nice.
And now you're back in England.
Now I'm back.
Back to base.
I said I'm going to stay here for a while because I really want to change what I said about there's not enough going on here. I actually believe that I can start something that gets people out of that place of, okay, well, it's just cold and everyone's miserable on the train. We can change that. We can change that. And I really, really want to... this message in this book needs to be spread here in order for things like this to change.
I was quite curious about this Living Excellence Club. What is that all about?
That's something I was doing about a year ago. It was my coaching, and it was just about how to live excellent, how to take your life to that next level. There's a lot of books out there saying be successful in 24 hours or change your life in 2 weeks, but how, and this is really what it was about. And I only speak on what I've done myself. I will never say, you can do this if I don't know that for sure. And that was kind of my problem with motivational speaking. A lot of it is just recycled material that doesn't work. That's just the truth. And it doesn't work because I use the analogy of if you cut yourself, if you just put a plaster on top of that dirty cut, it still can be infected. So I feel like my first book is a plaster. All those other books are just plasters covering up mess. Positive, be positive, but there's so much negative roots. This book's more like a disinfectant. It will clean the wound. And it really gets to the roots of all of those issues.
My name's Ione. You're listening to The Gospel Show Sunday Special. Now, we have a little treat for you right now because we're going to have Steve Whyte, our guest in the studio, reading a little short excerpt from one of his books. And which book is that, Steve?
This is from Profound,
okay, the most recent one.
Yeah. Because right at the beginning of the book, and it's something that I think is the root of everything that you need to know about yourself, stems from these 3 words. Who are you? The ability or inability to answer these 3 words put together will give away everything that's happening in your life right now. When I was younger, I wanted to be so many things. Now all I want is to just be. Based on who you are, or who you think you are, or who you've accepted that you are, is the answer to every issue, problem, pain, hurt, joy, happiness, misery, and expectations you may have. Depending on who you say you are will also determine who you think everybody else is in your world.
And that's it.
That's it.
Well, following closely behind your track, the little section there, going to play your track, which is No Pressure.
No pressure this way, no pressure this way, no pressure this way, no pressure this way. Have you ever had a day when nothing goes your way? Gotta keep on looking in front of you. You cannot lose your faith. Get on your knees and pray. Don't let life hold you back. No, when you feel like you're losing, you cannot fight against the pain. The battle's not yours. Give it to the Lord. When the pressure's too much and you wanna break through, this is what you gotta do. Don't give up. I know it seems so hard for you. Just look up. Your faith will take you through. Choose to seek better days all over you. You will make it through this if you just hold on longer. Don't let life get you down. You will be stronger. God will keep your feet on the ground. Any blessings God is gonna bring your way. He won't forget you. He won't forget you. If you follow in His footsteps, no, He will not lead you stray. No pressure this way. 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 Hold on for longer. Hold on for longer. Don't let life get you down. You will be stronger. God will keep your feet on the ground. Any blessings God is gonna bring your way. He won't forget you. He won't forget you. If you follow in His his footsteps, no, he will not lead you stray. No pressure this way, 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 no pressure this way.
Welcome once again. This is the very last few minutes of the show. We're going to be going back on the last passage you read from one of your books, the most recent book of yours, which is called Profound. Why did you choose that part of the book? Can you just explain to us why you chose that bit in about 1 minute?
Yeah, well, when I ask people, who are you? They usually respond with things like, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a musician, I'm a journalist, I'm a TV presenter. But when you take away all those things, who are you? And I think it's important for us to know that we are not what we do. We're human beings, not human doings.
Interesting.
And your career doesn't define you. It's who you are when you go home, when you wake up, when you're in a room by yourself. Who are you? And I make it very clear that I'm a child of God.
Amen.
And
First and foremost.
Yeah, and my career, my success doesn't define me. If I decide to be a TV presenter tomorrow, does that make me a TV presenter? No, I'm just Steve. I'm still the same person. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's important for us to all know who we are, our identity first, before we take on any of these other categories.
I say amen to that, Stephen. It's been absolutely amazing, your story. And I know you've got a long, long way to go. And I wouldn't begin to ask you what you're going to be doing next, because we'll be here all day or next week, right? But before we go and I say goodbye, you want to say goodbye to the listeners and give any information about where to find you?
Just go to Google Steve Whyte or iamstevewhyte.com.
Thank you. And we'll be playing you out with this track. It's Ione from Avenues 87.7 FM Gospel Sunday Special. God bless you. Have a fantastic week. And I'll see you next week. And we hear from Dan Winnis and the Pentecostals of Chicago.